Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this section of the film reviews. Today we have Sin's Corner where she laughs, she cries. I gotta do it every time. You know? Today we're going to be reviewing Wrath of Man. It's another Guy Ritchie film. I've been on a Guy Ritchie binge lately.
Yeah, I was a couple weeks ago when I saw this, followed by The Gentleman, and then Snatch.
But see, I didn't even know Wrath of Man was made by Guy Ritchie. You mentioned it later. But yeah. So today we're going to be reviewing it and give our honest opinion. She's already has a review out of her. Yeah. She's just coming to my channel. She's just hopping on over to this channel. We're doing a collab review. Yeah. So the plot, there's this raid on one of those, what do they call those trucks?
Armored trucks.
Armored trucks because it's got money. You know, Mr. Crab likes those money.
I want to see all your money.
Excuse me?
Show me where the money lives.
Yes, but then something goes on. You don't know what went on. You just hear shooting, and then that's about it. Then we begin with this guy goes to that place. That same company, to get a job for the armored, I guess, department?
To work for the armored truck.
Yeah.
Sorry, my hair is distracting me. It's like right in my eyeball.
However, I think it was, his second day, there's already like a heist.
I don't know if it was his second day or what.
Anyways, time went by a little bit, and the first heist happens with him on the job. However, he's able to handle his own.
Yes, he does much better in the shooting during that incident than he did on the test.
Yeah.
Timothy, when I saw it with my brothers, and his character was shooting the target for the test, he said, "Is it my imagination or was he just hitting the numbers?" And then I noticed it did look like he was just hitting the numbers. That was it. Yeah,
so he did okay on the test, but in reality, he seems to do pretty good. So anyways, the company likes what he did and put him on leave for a while.
Well, they were going to, but then they said, "Don't do that." Remember
he did say don't do that. But anyways, then another heist happens, and there's just some stuff going on, but
some stuff that lets you know that this guy isn't everything he says he is.
And it turns out
there's mysterious.
There's something that happened at the very beginning of the film with that first, what do you call it?
Heist, yeah.
Yeah.
The robbery.
It all connects with what happened with him and what happened with a family member of his.
You know, I didn't give too many spoilers if people hadn't seen the trailer, but if you've seen the trailer, you kind of already know what's up.
Overall, his character is complex. I don't want to say who he is exactly because it was kind of...
The trailer doesn't really give that away, I don't think. So I went in not knowing at all what
Let's just say you might find him a bit interesting because if you know Guy Ritchie, let's see, Gentleman, Snatch, let's be real, they all kind of connect in this sort of genre of
There's a theme
film.
with the type of people he makes movies about. I mentioned
and it's
that in one of my
pretty
other
funny and
reviews.
interesting at the same time. But anyways, I don't want to go into much detail because if you go in blind, it's actually more entertaining.
Yeah, you didn't know, did you?
No, I did
not
know.
I kept it a secret from you what he was.
The film quality is, modern looking film by today's standards. Yeah, editing is also just as good as most Guy Ritchie films. He obviously does that thing where he does a flashback, but it's always, you could always tell that it's a flashback.
Pieces always come together perfectly.
I mean, Christopher Nolan, come on, Guy Ritchie did it better. Why couldn't you do it better at Dunkirk? I mean, you are a good director. It's just why.
Why do we have to keep talking about Dunkirk? That movie still makes me
I feel
annoyed.
like Guy Ritchie should have done Dunkirk.
It's aggravating.
Anyways.
Well, something I wanted to mention that I didn't mention in my other review, and that's because I didn't notice it until yesterday when we saw the movie, was as I indicated to you that this was based on a foreign film.
Oh, yeah.
A French film, I believe. Guy Ritchie worked on the screenplay, so I'm assuming he adapted the English screenplay from the French movie. I don't know that he was involved in the original French movie at all. So I feel like I want to dig a little bit more. Remember what I said, how the tone was much darker?
Yeah, this is darker than like Gentleman or Snatch. Snatch and Gentleman had this sort of like comedic tone. Yeah.
Even though bad stuff was happening, even though death was happening, it was funny.
At the same time, yeah. But this was like gloomy.
This
was
like not
just a gloomy
as comedic.
tale.
So the tone felt a little different, and I wonder if that's because the source material was different.
But as for my enjoyment and her enjoyment, to be honest, I actually like this concept of a guy going into that armored business And then
It's pretty
there's
tense.
something.
I mean-
Yeah, there was some tense scenes, especially near the end.
Oh yeah.
The ending was pretty.
I interrupted.
Well, you know how my sister would say tenseful.
Yeah, just that's how she described 1917.
It was, yeah, I mean, it was all interesting from beginning to end. I never felt bored. I wanted to know, like, how was this all going to play out? The villains, you get their motive. I mean...
You get to know the villains very well.
And I think he does a pretty good job with the villains, too, in some aspects. Yeah, we get to know...
He
the
humanizes
main, yeah,
these people.
It makes them, like... See, because I was thinking when watching this film... enjoying it at the same time, but when I was watching it, I realized how, you know, most films, they kind of just throw these bad guys at you. Either they're robbing, and, you know, you don't really get to know them enough.
Right.
Which is, you know, it's fine.
They're
because
just a
they kind of
bad
just,
guy.
yeah, bad guys. But, you know, when you first see them, you kind of think that way, you know?
Right.
But no, he gets to show their side, show their humanity, you know, all
That's
that,
what's
blah,
so
blah, blah.
fascinating about Guy Ritchie's movies that I mentioned in the other collab review we did for The Gentleman.
Yeah.
How he can take people like this and humanize them and make them interesting, and I find that quite fascinating that he can do this.
See,
with
like,
certain
if
types of
when it comes to
characters.
my stories, I never really humanize my, like, these, you know, kind of side characters and all that.
Humanizing them makes them more interesting, though.
Yeah, you know, after this, maybe inspired me to do that with some of my side characters, because, to be honest, I kind of throw them there as just bad guy here, bad guy here, bad
Yeah.
guy. I mean, you know, minion sort of deal. That's how I was thinking, but they're not, you know,
Right.
because they felt like he made it to where you could understand their motives,
Exactly.
understand, you know,
Even
their
though you don't agree
lives.
with the
Yeah.
stuff they were doing, you get it on a certain level.
But I don't want to talk too much about them, because then
Yeah.
that would also go into details.
Yeah. That's the thing. I kind of I
I don't
trying
like, to be
really
honest,
vague
I
in
really
my
don't
other-
want to say too much, because just like Snatch and Gentleman, I feel like you kind of need to just watch it yourself.
I would almost say don't even watch the trailer, honestly.
Yeah, don't watch the
because-
trailer, because I feel like it's better if you just go in blind, because I mean, I've seen the trailer, I got the gist, but still I didn't know how things were played out, what the main character, you know, I thought it was
They
more
kept
of just
that part hidden.
I
But
thought
they
this was like
still-
just a typical revenge story, but in reality,
I mean, it was ultimately a revenge story.
yeah,
but
I mean, it just
was-
looked typical.
It was wrapped up
It
in a
looked-
very interesting package.
Yeah, it looked typical, but you know, now that I know Guy Ritchie did it, and now when I see Guy Ritchie's name, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to go see that movie. It's the same with Quentin Tarantino movies. I would go see those. They're more unique with their storytelling. They're unique with how they present it, and you know, it's better than what most Hollywood is doing these days.
Well, someone did specifically mention that today on one of the videos I put up today. It was a Bill Burr video talking about Asian horror movies, and I mentioned in there about how good South Korean movies
Oh
are.
yeah, there's some
Like
good,
the
like
movies
the
that
good,
I'd
bad, the
seen.
weird.
Yeah.
There's I do want to see Parasite. I heard that's really
Yeah,
good.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm still annoyed that it beat 1917, so that's one of the reasons I haven't watched. I was just going to say
Well-
that there were places that this film went to that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, she was mentioning in her review. Yeah, like, well, I didn't think about like much of it until down the road in the film when you brought it up about a specific character.
Oh, no, that was cliche, and I totally guessed that. What I mean is certain things that happened, like along the course of the story and also at the end, events that happened. You remember how you expressed, well, you were surprised that such and such happened to these people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was surprised by that too. I was
like a-
surprised. I thought certain things were going to be very cliche, and I'm not going to get specific. but
No,
I'll tell
no.
you what
I
mean
think
off
I think
camera.
overall I enjoyed
Yeah.
even all that whole part at the end, even though it was tenseful, slightly bummed that what happened. But it doesn't mean it didn't end badly. It was a wish fulfillment.
It felt appropriate.
Mhm.
It felt appropriate.
It just
the way-
ended it like the way it ended. You kind of just think back at everything that happened.
And because of that thing that happened at the end, it did go in places that I was not
Yeah,
anticipating.
but yeah, the way it ended too was kind of like, you know, kind of makes you go back and think about everything that just happened, sort of deal.
Yeah,
After the conclusion, it's
it's-
like, okay,
it's not.
wow.
It's weird because it's not. It is a movie that kind of leaves you heavy. In the
yeah,
heart, in
yeah,
a
yeah. It
sense.
leaves you heavy, but it's not a bad heavy, so per se. But well,
Yeah.
okay, It's a bad but not bad heavy.
It's a weird way. It's hard to describe.
Yeah. Like, it makes you think of all the stuff that happened. But on the other hand, it's a good conclusion.
It leaves you with mixed feelings, but not mixed feelings in
a bad way.
Not
It's
in a
like
bad way.
kind of like
I had. Okay,
It's
so
weird.
I had mixed feelings about the Selena show. I liked it, but I thought the main actress had good points and bad points, and so that's why I feel mixed about the show. Overall, I liked it, but I'm mixed about the show because in some aspects the actress's performance was kind of poor and weak, and then in other aspects she completely nailed it.
She seems like she's in the middle when it comes to her acting.
She's not that super talented. She did really good in some parts and not so great in others.
The only time I saw her was The Walking Dead.
That was the first time I saw her. But the point I was trying to make is when I called that mixed, when I said I had mixed feelings about that, that was more kind of like, But in this one, mixed feelings doesn't mean pros and cons. It just means I feel conflicted. A little.
I didn't feel
about how
conflicted.
I felt.
I just felt like it left you with this after the whole thing that just went down.
It was exhausting.
Well, it was just, like I said,
Like
I don't
how?
really want to explain
I know,
it. It ends in a way that makes you look back at everything that happened that specific moment, but it does conclude in a something. But anyways, I was gonna say, yeah,
It's got a satisfying conclusion,
It does.
even though it leaves you kind of feeling
like
ugh.
heavy with all the
Heavy,
stuff that
yeah.
happened. Yeah, like Guy Ritchie, Quentin Tarantino. I mean, even George Lucas, if you think about it, and Steven
He hasn't
Spielberg.
done stuff in a while.
No, he hasn't, but you could appreciate what he did. There's different talents when it comes to directing and writing your own script and bringing it out to the world. They're more unique than most of what comes out today. It's just kind of bland.
It's just a lot of what's happening these days it just seems to be more about pandering to certain groups.
Comics
than
is doing
than
that,
it
and
does
then, yeah.
about actually creating really interesting characters and very good plot
And I would gotta
lines.
say, Wrath
I'm
of
not a
Man.
fan of that.
Wrath of Man is one of those films.
Yeah, Wrath of Man has none of that sort of nonsense
and
in
it
at
and
all.
it just he
It's
did a
just,
good job.
This is the story. Here it is.
Necesito tacos y frijoles para un platillo que quiero preparar. Y también, tal vez, chiles, aunque pican bastante. Ah, y no olviden que necesito todo lo del camión. ¿Ustedes venden comida? ¿Verdad?
Well, Wrath of Man, another Guy Ritchie film that I really enjoyed. It's a darker one, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Besides Snatch and Gentleman, I will say it is. I really
Oh my goodness,
really liked this dark Guy Ritchie film.
Dark.
That's
It's
my
dark.
rating.
It
That's
really
my
is.
rating.
There are some little glimmers of humor here and there, but overall, it is quite dark for a Guy
So,
Ritchie.
what would you rate it with your words?
Well, I already indicated in my review that
But
if I had to
yeah.
put a number on it, I would give it in the 8 range, 10 or 80 percentile, which means I thought it was excellent. Well written, well plotted, well acted. Jason Statham is a little bit hard to understand though.
So
Captivating.
So basically, well done.
Makes you think.
Well done.
Yeah,
That's
the whole
your rating.
thing was really good. I don't really have any huge issues at all, except for the fact that I was easily able to guess something about a particular character. I was able to guess as soon as I saw them, that person's bad. I just didn't know in what way, and then you find out later in what way.
Well, that's my rating for really liked this dark Guy Ritchie film, and hers is well done.
No, it's just it's very
Well
good.
done.
I mean, if you like Guy Ritchie, you'll like this film, but be prepared that the tone is completely different than something like Snatch or The Gentleman. Totally different. It's bloody, violent, but it's not gratuitous, and it's not filled with that. That's not all it's about. There's a lot of story that's going on.
Yeah, I really like this story. But I guess it beat Terminator now, huh?
No.
Justice League.
No. Well, those are two completely different types of movies.
Anyways, that's all we have for today.
That's all we've got
folks.
for today.
Go away now.
Oh no, let's not take his tagline.
I had to do it. Anyways, that's all we have for today. You could
Adios.
follow my mom in Sin's Corner where she laughs, she cries, she does a little bit of both. She is tired at the same time when she's up like at 12 in the morning or 1 in the morning.
Recording stuff.